Welcome to Wallace on Wire. Today we're talking about Mohamad Zulkifly, Jusoh's proposal to restrict public drinking.
And this has really kicked off another round of a debate we've seen before. It all stems from his statement during the parliamentary debate on the Ministry of Tourism budget.
Right, and it's so important to get the details straight on this one, because a lot of the noise around it misses the point he was trying to make.
It absolutely does. We need to be really clear. The Basut Member of Parliament is not calling for a religious ban on non-Muslims drinking alcohol. He made that very, very clear.
So it's not about if they can drink.
No, not at all. It's strictly about where. It's a spatial restriction. It's about conduct and location, not a blanket prohibition.
And that is the pivotal distinction, isn't it? Because once you see it that way, you realize he's drawing a very bright line. He's essentially saying the act of drinking needs to be moved out of the public eye.
Precisely. It shifts the entire conversation away from religious freedom and squarely into the realm of public decorum, which is, a completely different policy argument.
So what are the specifics then? Where does he want this activity to happen?
He's asking for any drinking by non-Muslims to be confined to designated licensed areas. So think private rooms, specific zones within an establishment, that sort of thing.
Not in, say, an open park or on a public beach.
Exactly. The idea is to control the visibility of it, not the consumption itself.
Okay, so if the proposal isn't about stopping people from drinking, what's the core rationale? Why bring this up during a tourism budget debate of all things?
Well, he gave a very direct justification for it. It all centers on Malaysia's national image.
To the brand.
The brand, exactly. He argues that to safeguard our image as an ideal tourist destination, we need these rules. His point is that tourists should be visiting for our unique culture, our attractions.
Not just as a place to, quote, get drunk.
That's his phrasing. He's making a defense of the country's moral fabric, in a way, and how that's marketed to the world.
And he's got a real-world example to back this up. He pointed to what the Terengganu state government's been doing.
He did. He praised them for issuing these strict warnings to tourism spots that were operating without the proper liquor licenses.
So he's connecting state-level policy directly to the federal tourism strategy. It shows this isn't just a theoretical idea for him.
No, there's already a precedent in his eyes. And what really illuminates his thinking is the direct quote he used. The language was incredibly strong.
This is the one that's been making the rounds.
It is, he said. We never stopped anyone from drinking. You want to get drunk? Go ahead. You want to jump into the sea? Jump. You want to jump out of a plane? Fine, but don't do it in public.
Wow, let's just pause on that for a second. That's a powerful analogy. Jumping out of a plane?
It's extreme, isn't it? He's equating public drinking with highly dangerous, isolated activities.
But is that really a fair comparison? I mean, the argument against public drinking is usually that it impacts the shared public experience, right? For families or people whose beliefs don't align with it.
And that's the legal and social friction point. He is framing public consumption as a disruptive act, almost like an extreme sport. By doing that, he's implicitly saying that the visibility of this behavior, well, it overrides the right of non-Muslims to do illegal activity in a communal space.
It elevates public sensitivity over shared access.
Perfectly put. This isn't the first time we've seen this tension, though. This whole discussion feels like a continuation of a much larger debate.
You mean the clash between tourism strategy and religious identity?
Exactly. This proposal from Mohamad Zulkifly Jusoh sits right in the middle of a political storm that we saw flare up just last year, specifically around Langkawi.
Oh, right. You're talking about the suggestion from the Deputy Tourism Minister, Khairul Firdaus Akbar Khan, the Muslim-friendly branding for Langkawi.
That's the one, and it caused immediate waves.
An understatement. The pushback was intense, wasn't it?
It was. The idea of catering to just one demographic was seen by many as narrowing Malaysia's core identity. The backlash was so severe that the tourism minister himself had to step in.
And his apology was a pretty strong political statement on its own. He had to come out and basically reaffirm the country's commitment to diversity, saying no tourist spots should cater to only one group.
It was a vital move to reassure, both the international market and non-Muslims here at home. And then later, Keda's Menteri Besar Sanusi also confirmed they had no plans to focus Langkawi exclusively on the Muslim market.
So that idea was pretty firmly walked back.
It was. But now you see Mohamad Zulkifly Jusoh coming forward with a similar kind of argument just from a different angle. Instead of demographics, he's focusing on space and conduct.
Which creates this fascinating contradiction. On one hand, you have the tourism minister's position prioritizing diversity for broad appeal to bring in the most tourist ringgit.
And on the other, you have a push for a specific moral order in public spaces to protect the national image. These are conflicting visions.
So let's get into the practical side of this. Let's move from the political rhetoric to reality. What would restricting alcohol consumption to private rooms actually mean on the ground?
For the hospitality industry, it could be an operational nightmare.
I can imagine. I mean, think about a big resort in Penang or Sabah. You've got these huge open pool decks, lobby bars, beach fronts. How does a hotel manager even enforce that?
That's the question. How do you define public view in an open-air resort? Does a waiter now have to police who they're serving based on religion out by the pool?
It puts the burden of enforcement squarely on the business owner. If a guest has a drink at a licensed restaurant that's visible from the street, who gets in trouble? The guest, the establishment.
It's all very vague, and that vagueness creates a huge amount of risk for businesses that rely on, international standards of service.
And that takes us straight to the economic impact, to the ringgit and cent of it all. Maintaining an image is one thing, but what's the potential cost?
Well, tourists from high-spending markets, Europe, Australia, they often expect certain leisure activities to be easily accessible. If they feel like they're being watched or that relaxing is suddenly complicated.
They might just go somewhere else, Thailand, Vietnam.
Exactly. It's not just about losing the ringgit spent on one drink. It's about losing the entire holiday package. The flight, the hotel, the shopping, everything. You risk creating what tourism experts call cultural friction.
Instead of enjoying Malaysia's diversity, they feel like they're being forced to navigate a different, more complex set of rules.
And we also have to think about the domestic impact. This isn't just about foreign tourists. Malaysian non-Muslims also go to these places.
Of course.
So that they might feel like they're being penalized for engaging in a perfectly legal activity just because they're in a shared public space.
Which brings up a really complex question for you, the listener, to think about. If the goal is genuinely to maintain public order and a certain national image, does restricting this behavior to designated areas actually work? Or does it just create more friction by making the enforcement so visible?
It's a challenging environment. You're trying to solve a cultural issue with a licensing tool. And by trying to police something as vague as public view, you're creating a massive regulatory headache for businesses.
It really seems to boil down to two opposing views of what a Malaysian public space should be. Is it a space defined by the moral expectations of the majority?
Or is it a genuinely multicultural space where all legal activities are tolerated within reasonable boundaries? That is the core challenge.
And finding that reasonable boundary is the tightrope every politician is walking right now, especially when discussing something as crucial as the tourism budget.
Ultimately, the question is how the nation reconciles its constitutional diversity with this desire, expressed by politicians like Mohamad Zulkifly, Jusoh, to enforce specific codes of conduct in public. It's a conversation about who gets to define public life.
A conversation that is clearly far from over.
Indeed.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.